smoking, bro, they love the Chevy. Back in the day, it was the spokes on the chariot. Long procession when the king got carried out to every spot. Woman looking nice as ISIS. I read ancient texts, so my advice is priceless. Nubian gold, your ice don't entice us. Beating me harder than counting grains in your spices. Your heart was beating, but your brain dead, you're lifeless. Yo, they ain't nothing like us, yo. Don't try to make me mad. Make me smile and say you love me, man. That's real right there. Yeah, come on. You should listen to your main man's advice. Do a YouTube and apologize like Dice. Or the back fade coming like the Antichrist. Egyptologists see me reading and said that I'm nice. I got a speller with your name on it. I'm like Sargon. You the type of dude wake up in your car gone. Told, cause of the money you owe. Before you stream, you should clean up that humble abode. Like I'm not in city for my woman in gold. I keep the pseudos running, people coming in droves. You catch me on a live stream with Pan-African James. When we building, call us by our African names. I'm for the children. And ain't nothing happened to change. We on that black hype, so we still packing them things for protection. Got connections, got connections. My complexion, pure black, that's the essence. Make me smile. You love me? Show me some love. All right. Yo, what up? Go on and put out the chat, share the video, let everybody know we live and we learning. I don't know why the video went up like a scheduled video. Sometimes when I do multi-streams, because I'm streaming on Facebook and Instagram. I mean, you know, YouTube, not Instagram. And when I do that, sometimes it messes me up. What's up, though? I'm about to play some hip hop on y'all. Square Daddies. Let me play some Blapper real quick. Then we're gonna get into it. Hopefully these notifications get out. We can have us a good show today. But I was listening to this. I want to go film a video to this, man. This is hardcore smash rock. Well, hip hop. They don't like me doing nothing but really this right here. Listen to the bar work, man. Listen to the wordplay, the rhyme schemes. This is what we do. I spit rhymes, original minds are not typical line for line, digital mind designs. Chemical react, criminal fact, indigo black, pendulum crack rap. The pen in the backpack, ending them rap cats. Since the days of rolling on linoleum, beholding microphone sounding golden on the podium. Son, I'm narcotic, hard body with harmonics. The land got a lake and a farm on it. Link got a charm on it. This arm on me with bomb on them. This is our moment. This arm, homie. The bars raw. Check the guard. Type of pimp shit. What a style drip. That was wild. Nostalgic outfits on my infants. Squeeze the mic and leave imprints. At events, stroll down the red. Seize the light with the impress. He to help me see the light. Monuments, he's a like Sheeta. I need a visa type. I feed her and I treat her right.
With the clown shit, that's why I stay in the cut. Fuck hanging out, I'm on my route, you know, chasing the buck. What's handing, been stacking paper, you know, saving it up. Niggas talk a lot of shit, they never say it to us. We ain't with the clown shit, that's why I stay in the cut. Fuck hanging out, I'm on my route, you know, chasing the buck. What's handing, been stacking paper, you know, saving it up. Niggas talk a lot of shit, they never say it to us.
I'm a phenomenal rhymer, keep a llama for the drama. Smooth dude, never had a problem with the mamas. Move through hella active, Bluetooth, telepathic, graphic, author, voodoo, melanin magic. I hit the block with the same shit them dealers got. You can get flamed with the same shit. Yeah, we on it like that today. Slang different than the spill that your spitters hawk. It's just the way a nigga talk when I hit them off. My inner thoughts like winter frost. I've been a boss. I ain't making hits for the club. This ain't beginner golf. I put this metal in your grill like a dental office and get it jumping off the water. Spin a dolphins, crushed velvet looking good in your inner coffin. I bust real shit, bossy. Now get up off them. I spill shit like somebody hit the kill switch. For real,
Me with the clown shit, that's why I stay in the cut. Fuck hanging out, I'm on my route, you know, chasing the buck. What's handing, been stacking paper, saving it up. Niggas talk a lot of shit, they never say it to us. We ain't with the clown shit, that's why I stay in the cut. Fuck hanging out, I'm on my route, you know, chasing the buck. What's happening, been stacking paper, you know, saving it up. Niggas talk a lot of shit, they never say it to us.
Gonna let him have this last joint, and then we're gonna go and get to the business. Share the video, like the video, put up a comment so we can get started.
Don't fast talk me. What? I never did figure that niggas would pull all that shit up about that cat. Zip up your lip, butter it up. My brothers is fucking the government. I shut it up, that's enough of it. They loving the covenant, hotter than the oven. Man, it's not another robot or a brother who they fucking with. Stand in the line, I'm handling mine. Got bands on my mind, my man got hands like a pantomime. I said it before when I hand some rhymes. Let me make them dance like hammer time. I'm with the Amazon, with the cameras on, with pajamas on, and my sandals on. Dancing on the mansion lawn. I just ran through a handsome ransom and some. I make the music and the bands come. It's like an HBCU homecoming. You on your own, get on, go get your own woman. You know you're wrong, but snatch the microphone from the cloud loud and everybody choking. They're choking. I hope you hear us.
It's smoke and mirrors, man.
Smoke and mirrors, man. Don't fall for it. Never fast talk a polka dilla. Hope you hear us. It's smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. Now I'm about to let a nigga have it. I never met a better rapper, it never happened. Another level of hell in the elements. Set of benevolence, intense intelligence, irrelevant developments. What I said, intense intelligence. You should be in a circus intense with elephant. Shame on a nigga who tried to run game on a nigga. That's the figure. I figured that it is all a nigga should know. I'm making it out, fixing and kicking it up. For that chicken, getting it up. Say it slow. For that chicken, getting the dough. Pimping while I'm sipping on the fifth. You niggas sniffing blow. Your fast rap is ass crack. Ain't no bars in it. It's like a 12-door garage with no cars in it. Ours be flossy. We smoke large cigars in it. Arsenic, carcinogenic, authentic bars. The cloud loud and everybody choking near us. I hope you hear us. It's smoke and mirrors.
Alright, we kicking it now, forget it.
Never fast talk a polka dilla. Hope you hear us. It's smoke and mirrors.
So I guess, you know what I'm saying, after a long time in hip hop, after about spending 30 years in hip hop, I just gotta realize it's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? All the shit I've been through, you know what I mean, on that hip hop scene, and then you ain't even gotta be in the spotlight. You ain't even gotta be like out there like that. But what made me think about it is what was I looking at? Was it Joey Badass? Was it that or was I tripping? Was it Bobby Shmurda? Excuse me. I don't know. I'm trying to learn. All right, now this is what I'm trying to talk about right here.
Let's do Bobby Shmurda first. So, have you heard the news, Lush?
I've been seeing a lot about it. I'm not exactly sure what happened. You feel me? So Bobby Shmurda goes off on a booking agent and touring company for his tour being canceled.
Y'all be watching No Jumper? Oh my gosh, this should be hella funny. I'm gonna talk about it in a minute. But let's look at this Bobby Shmurda thing.
Sold. They respond back claiming that Bobby sold an average of 10 tickets per tour date, which I believe. So let's take a look.
Yeah, he sold 10 tickets per tour date. I'm smacking my lips at that, but we about to listen.
So
Bobby's been doing some really weird stuff since.
No, here's the full story, man. So when Bobby got out of jail, he was going through some label issues. He was begging to get off the label.
He was complaining.
They finally let him go, right? No, can we go to the last slide first? Okay, yeah, perfect, right? Yeah. So when Bobby got out of jail, he was having label issues. Because if you guys know, when Bobby first got arrested, they asked for his label to come and and give a character statement on his behalf, and they said no. And that was like the first time where like folks
I
were like,
don't
yo,
know
this
nothing
he
about
was
that.
Atlantic,
I want to hear
right?
about the tour.
no, it was with I think Epic,
Epic.
right? And they
It
said
was
no.
Epic. You're right.
Yeah, and they said no, we're not doing that, bro. Sorry, right, like we're not about to come and say, yo, if anything he does, it's on us, nigga, not happening. So then once he got out, he already had that grudge on him, and say, yo, bro, let me out. I don't want to work with y'all. So then once he got let out his deal, because I feel like if a label lets you go, they pretty much realize we can't really make.
We can't monetize you anymore.
Yeah. So Bobby is now an independent artist. So
Okay, so those records that when he first came out and he was putting out those clunkers, you feel me, that just went ultra wood every time.
No.
Was that with
What is he
under the
talking about?
blessing of Epic, or is he just releasing that by himself?
those records are under Epic, right?
Okay.
Because like when he got out and he was still signed, like he had to like.
Remember, he got out and he who was it? Offset and Quavo pulled up on him. And
No,
shit?
Quavo put up on him.
Quavo pulled up on him.
$100,000 cash.
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
ass chain.
And we literally heard not a single.
Every rapper was trying to be next to him.
Man, people was trying to insinuate he was gay and shit while he was dancing.
Well,
that
he
hurt
did.
it.
He did.
That hurt
He
it.
did look
Because he
fruity
was
as
dark
fuck,
on
bro.
his tour.
That's
I
number
think if
one.
he dropped the good music, all of that, everything we just named could have been overshined. Everything we just named.
and I
wouldn't
think
have mattered.
The biggest issue is people became fans of Bobby Shmurda for drilling. You feel me? He was talking that, he was popping that shit. And when he came out making party music,
All right, well, whatever. My point of looking was saying that he sold 10 tickets in every city that he was in, supposedly. And that's kind of crazy to me. Even if that's the case, I don't know how that could be the case. See, lately, it really ain't no real promoters no more. All they do is ask the artists to promote their own events and their own videos. It don't really be like the 90s where it was promoters. You know, a lot of these agents, they just run with the venues and they put you on the bill and ain't nobody really telling everybody. But I know everybody know a person like Bobby Shmurda got more than 10 people want to see him in every city. I mean, you know, if they book that right. But whatever. What's up with Cousin Kurt? I see New Kim in the building. Legit, what's up? I know I'll be saying your name wrong. Proof. Evidence. What's up? RTP UKA Mark White. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this. Let's see if they start talking about the tour.
which is what he's supposed to do because he's trying to grow beyond the stigma of what got him in trouble. We wasn't trying to hear it.
And I think we
Right?
have to remember, bro, that before
Yeah.
he went to jail, he only had a couple songs.
He had four
You know?
records that people liked.
And
Nah,
nigga,
he had
the
two,
only
right?
one I knew was
Really?
Hot Nigga and Bobby
Bobby
Bitch.
Bitch,
And then
Computers,
the only
which is not even
yeah,
his song.
Computers not his
Not
shit.
even
And
his
then
song,
I
yeah,
just
Roddy
remember
Ricch.
I'm sliding over cars while I swoop.
The Shmoney Dance record was kind of big, and
It was cool.
Yeah, and then he had the other one with Too Short.
And I'm not saying anything to say because, like, you know, I don't give a fuck about billboards and shit like that. I'm just saying that he didn't really have time to develop as a rapper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't have time to develop his skill as a rapper.
He
only
had
a
7
couple
years to
songs.
write.
Well, yeah, but nigga,
yeah.
but you in there fighting for your life, gang. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't always be in their right mind to build the right music while they're in jail. Some people can, some people can't, nigga.
Yeah,
you know?
facts.
Cause it's like, I don't know, like as I done seen some niggas say who did prison.
I don't even really trip off that. But it made me realize that, yeah, it's a big blessing to be able to be in the game for 30 years and still to be able to get out there and do some shows and have some stuff cracking. You know what I'm saying? That's all that was about. What's up, though? I want to study. Do a little bit of maybe some studying. I don't know. I was thinking about freshening up on some little bit of metal nature. But I ain't tripping though. What's up with y'all? What's everybody been up to? What's been going on? What y'all been watching? I was looking over a few of these documents Nothing got me juiced. Some old Kate Litzker documents that I've been recommending some of us look at that's interested in that. And then I don't think it's new, but a Stuart Tyson Swift document that they emailed me, but whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. As far as touring and all that is concerned, I be wanting to open up something like all the stuff I be hearing from rappers now that you can look at social media. I be like, I should open up something to help dudes get their thing popping. Because golly, somebody told me one of the routes that hip hop been taking since the 90s, we started that route. You could go through different routes and hit hella different clubs. But somebody was telling me one day, you know that one route we were like, man, we started that. So touring is cool. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate that. Yeah, people can check out that book, Black Like Osiris. It is on Amazon right now. You also could get it a signed copy at my Bandcamp. You feel me? Make sure y'all check that out. But what's been up? I'm about to go to IG. Y'all want a show y'all could do? You could just be on Instagram and scroll. Damn, what's going on? You could scroll Instagram and just comment on everything you scroll on Instagram. And that'll be a whole show right there. Tell the truth. What if I was looking for something? Listen to the Baby Oil Chronicles. Now, I don't know what's the matter with y'all, but the feds could make y'all think something the matter with everything. I ain't listening to no Puffy Trials. I ain't listening to none of that. I know it's too much to hear. But I know it ain't nothing wrong with baby oil. No matter how many quantities, no matter the quantity, dog, you can have 50 barrels, 50 kegs of baby oil. And I don't know how something the matter with that. Now, it's weird and it make me, I would laugh down the street if I found out. And I would be thinking like you got like some mental issues or you go too hard in whatever painting you be in. But I can't find nothing wrong with baby oil though. I didn't watch them trials though, so I don't know. Don't trick me up. Here we go. Give me a second. We're going to start with this. I'll put it big on the screen. Y'all can start dealing with it. Uh-oh. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Somebody already know what that's saying? Anybody? Well, if we was trying to read it like this, it'll be, coming to the translation that we about to see, you probably have to know what was going on. But luckily we could click into each definition and see what it is, see what's happening. So first we got, what's this? This is an N for negation. So if I click this, it's just gonna tell us, it's gonna say not or something like, see, a negation word, negative word, negation. It just means what follow it is not a fact or it's not true, it's negated. So the first thing we see after that is a word that says sepi. It says sep, but it's transliterated, or it is probably sepi. As you see, they got sepi right here. Now, just looking at the glyphs, and if you don't know this term, you always gonna look at the determinative to see the category of the word. That determinative here appears, I mean, I don't want to say what it is, but I know I'm going to give you an indication of what it is. So you could say it is, some could say it's the entire universe. Some will say not really the sun, because it represents time. And it is a circle with many dots on the inside that could be the stars. But like I said, I didn't want to say what it is. I'll tell you what it alludes to, time. So if I click this, it's going to say something like an occasion, right? It should. All right, well, let's see what happened here. This is to remain. So let's take away what I just said and let's go with this correction here. Even though everybody know what I'm talking about, we have to understand different ways that words, different meanings of words. This is to remain, to leave over, to remain over, to be left over, to be left out, excluded, or to stay, to leave. Now notice the glyphs you see here, and we're going to see how I made that mistake. If I come here and press SP, we're going to see the same exact thing, right? But it's going to mean time. If they let us see it, what will be the quickest way to show you? That's not the quickest way to show you. Let me see if I can go like this. Oh, C-A-S-I-O-N? All right, let's see if I spelled that right. Okay, there it goes. Now, see? You see the same exact glyphs. You notice that? I'm going to go back to the other page. S, P, and this circle with the dots. In this instance, it doesn't mean what it means. In this instance, now look, right here you see VP. But you have to understand, in the Meta Nature, it's still the Dorbo S or Z. We got 1,600 instances of it being used to say time. And so that's why I refer to it as time. Over here, if we click it like this, to mean to remain over, we got 49 instances of it meaning to remain over. So you see which use is more common, and you see how I made the mistake of referring to the more common usage of the term, which is that time or an occasion. Here we're dealing with a different use of the same term, even though they transliterated it with an S. It probably was pronounced different is what they're trying to say. And it means to remain or to leave over. So if this is negation, it's don't leave over or nothing's left over. Here we got a term we all think we know is Kim. right? But here it is used as a noun, so to speak. Well, because the black, this is the black. And this whole statement here is very good for us to understand exactly how they used the black. So check this out. The transliteration, don't be confused by the transliteration not lining up exactly with the glyphs. Here is the transliteration for Kim. And what we see is they transliterate Kim and then they put PL, which represents plural. So in order to pronounce plural, when you say Kim, you say Kimu. Right? Kimu is not really plural the way they said it. It is more like they tell us that which is black, or that which is black, or the one who is black. In this instance, it is an entity, the thing that is black. So it's not, nothing is left black. This is a ni, as you see here, ni. It's not just an N. So nothing remaining black belonging to. Now what is this word? It looked like ant, like an ant. A-N-T. But you see the category of the word. You see a finger right here, right? And on the finger, the tip is bent. A lot of times when you see a finger, the tip is bent. But we should just know that this is a finger right here as the determinative. So it's nothing remaining black belonging to finger. If we click this, it's going to say a claw, a talon, or a thumb, a nail. So just like Solomonic just said, it's a fingernail. So there's nothing remaining black belonging to the fingernails. So what does that mean? Let me turn on the camera and have to play myself real quick. What does that mean? Huh? That means if you go like this and they got something remaining black, you feel me? Then you through. Nothing, but this is a metaphor. It helps us understand how they use the term black. Because here, the dirt under your fingernails is a noun. It is a thing. So in ancient Egyptian, and it works very good translating it straight back to African American vernacular English, this literally says nothing remaining black belonging to the fingernails of or by or in. Now what do we have here? Shot, F. Shot F. What is the word shot? It has a papyrus roll for its category. So all I know is the concept is possibly intangible or, a concept that you can't touch. What is ordained? Taxes, dues. Okay, somebody could say you could touch taxes, but it is a concept of specific, what has been predetermined as taxes. All right. So then they're saying, oops, screw, I didn't want to go down like that. So nothing remaining black belonging to his nails in his taxes, by his taxes. So what that mean? So now we got to read it different because we can kind of understand. Oh, I didn't know some of the meta was cut off. Now we got to read it different because we can see what they saying. We can get the context. Nothing remaining black. No. Nothing remaining, even the black under his nails. That's how they translate it. Nothing remaining, even the black under his nails due to his taxes. That is how they translating it. To put it into English in a way that we will understand it. As far as this glyph black is concerned, that we see highlighted here, we know that it started out as an adjective for a color and then got changed into a noun to represent the dirt under his fingernails that he ain't even got no more because of his taxes. Nothing remaining, not even the dirt under his fingernails because of his taxes. So we come here, it says not even the black under the fingernail is left of what is assigned to him are his taxes. So grammatically, we do learn that you can take Kim, black. Now, they saying not even the black under his fingernails. And not just saying the dirt. And so they're leaving this as, they're not, because you can't have an adjective with a ni. You can't have this type of a construct with an adjective in the beginning. This is called a indirect genitive. And you can't have an indirect genitive with an adjective leading it off. It has to be noun, preposition, noun. So dirt, because the black got to represent a noun. So it's dirt belonging to, and that's why they put under, fingernails. So this black has to be a noun here. So we can learn here that black can be a noun. And what is a noun? A person, a place, or a thing. This is how grammar works. You can't say, oh, you can't use black for a person or a place, but you can use it for a thing. Nope. If it falls in the category of a noun, it can be used for a person, a place, or a thing. Anyone disagree? We also see that even though, now check this out, there is a determinative conflict here. Because the way I describe the papyrus roll is not necessarily the way that Egyptology or Egyptologists will tell you when I talk about this abstract concept or a intangible thought. That works 85% of the time. If you think about it, dirt on your nails is a real tangible thing. So that is not working here. Nevertheless, they don't put a hair determinative here, which would make us focus on the black. A lot of the times when they when a adjective switches its word class, it's not going to hold the determinative that it held when it was just representing the color. Because now it ain't just representing the color, it's representing the thing, probably of that color. Just like the black under your fingernail, see? It's representing the thing of that color. And in a sense, you can call a thing of that color. You could do that in ancient Egyptian. You can call, all right, the way we do it in English is with leafed vegetables. Leaf vegetables are, for the most part, green. So we say, I want some greens. But green is a color. That's an adjective. But you said you want some greens. So you took an adjective and made it into a noun in order to let the person know to bring you back leafed vegetables, and in particular collard greens, but not limited to collard greens. Because some can say eat some greens in order to increase your diet, and they might be just talking about green vegetables. You feel me? But whatever. Not even the black under the fingernails is what was assigned, is left of what was assigned to him. And it's the same one. And then, but this is a different reading about something else. The first thing I see here, and I haven't even visited this yet, minty, but you see the jug, right? And so I'm thinking this is some type of an oil. Minty net sha, yeah, it's the oil of some type of a plant, right? Then the Kimu. But here Kimu has a man behind it, dang, dog, with his hand to his mouth. So I already know this construct right here, this is a noun, even though people say, all right, let me see. Why is it starting with a noun? Because it is, just because this must be some type of a nominal phrase or whatever. But again, we see an indirect genitive, so we can know that it is a noun belonging to this. So it is some type of oil of this plant. See the plant? So you see the jug belonging to this plant. So if I click this, it's going to say some type of an oil. A root. Okay, I will take that. A root, a medicine. I don't know what Racine is. I just know that place in Wisconsin. Belonging to what kind of plant? You just say a plant. So it said it was a root. Now I would say it's not a root. I would say it's some type of an ointment because there's a jug here. Right? They can indicate it's a root with other determinatives, but I'm not going to argue to them. It is a root belonging to this plant. Now it says pa, which is the, and if I click this pa, that's a masculine the, right? The what? Kimu. Now they're going to say that this is a mineral. And I don't know it not to be. Oh, but they say this is black. Okay, cool. Well, this is very interesting because they got Kimu here. But they're talking about a root belonging to a plant. The black, this is another way to say belonging to. Or no, that which is the black that is, the one who, see, the black that is, the black witch, the black that is. So the black witch, this is a hair compressed net. Heteris. I don't know, heteri. I gotta figure this out. So this is the black that is upon, this isn't a hair like the black that is the face. Compressed. So let me tell you this compressed, if y'all know that compressed. Yerrick say, I found this the other day and it was like, what's that man doing there on that Kimmel? Yeah, that's what I was saying too, but he got his hand to his mouth. So he's not just talking about the man, he's talking about something pertaining to the mouth, this Kimmel. But then they got this hair compressed. I don't want to go down and look. This compressed appears to just be the cut of the ox leg, see the foreleg or the thigh. So upon the thigh, okay, upon the thigh of something. Okay, they got to get the black off the thigh or something. And you see this has a foxtail here. So we say heteri is what I was saying earlier. Heteri. Right? And here you see it translated, right? Heteri. The thigh of a team of cattle or horses. Okay. Well, still we see that the black is a thing here. The black, well, we can ask ourselves, the root of the plant, the black which is found on the thigh of a team of horses. That can just be a color, but they're acting like it's a substance. If I click this, they're going to say it's a substance, and that's a thing. Damn, they're not saying it's a substance. Let me show you why. See, this says Kimu. Kimu. When I click it, it's going to Kim. That's why it's not showing a substance. Let me show you how to do this. You got to really know. You would never know this. You have to be researching something and figure out certain things. Type KMW, which is the real rendition they're showing us. And you don't even have to put the period. And now it's going to take you to Kimu. But look, Kimu has two attestations. There's a mineral behind it. Plant part or a mineral. Remember we was just reading the text that said, get the root of the plant, the Kimu. See? But, yeah, you're right. The glyphs probably were primarily in hieratic. And I know you're right because if you come here and look, if I go back, if I'm allowed to go back, the glyphs were primarily in hieratic because if you come here and look, you'll see the final stroke of the last glyph is in hieratic. So you must have picked up on that while you were studying it. Maybe I can't get back to it. But I ain't tripping. In both of those instances, they took a color, right? And they used it as a noun. Now you can find plenty colors used as nouns in ancient Egyptian. Matter of fact, the color green is in the root for the ancient Egyptian word for farmer. So notice how we took the word green and we say some greens, and we're talking about salad or leafed vegetables or in particular collard greens. But they took green and just made it pertain to all things of the garden, and the overseer of the garden, who is the gardener. So then we will see Waj to you. Now, if we understand every sign we say to you, we are saying one related to. So he is one related to green. He's not green. He's one related to that which is green. And that which is green is what? Gardening stuff. So he's a Waj to you. That's a particular type of farmer, not every type of farmer. Because all farmers don't deal with greens. They got some farmers of certain particular fields, salt farmers and saketis and different type of farmers. But the Watch to you would be an instance where the color green is related to one by his profession. I like that term because what I learned in investigating it is that even though it's not saying that the individual is green, how one would argue that a Kemetic is black, it is showing that in grammar you don't divorce the meaning of the root when you amend the TU on it. Whatever extra meaning you're going to extrapolate, you still don't divorce the meaning of the root word when you add a TU on it. Right? So that's cool. I don't know, it's up early. It's 9 a.m. where I'm at, about 9:15. I didn't really, I wanted to stream, and this is just what I do to stay up on what I'm talking about. I got a little video work to do, and I'm going to do that probably afternoon. So I ain't got no topic in particular. So if y'all want to, somebody got something they want me to pull up or build on, I will do that. And so right here at Kemetic, they took that to say the great black bull or the great black one, Osiris. So let's deal with this. This is something I was talking about, and I'm going to go into another text corpus, but it is called, it's only for persons and names, right? And I couldn't make this type of stuff up. You could take any color in the world and type them in this corpus, and you're going to wind up coming to this conclusion. Why did ancient Egyptians, out of all the colors, why did they only call themselves black? And you can go through history and you can find different reasons why. Strabo, no. Plutarch said it was because of Set being associated with the color red, and everything that was fiery, arid, and dry being associated with the color red, that they did not like to associate with red people. Well, let's say we're being a bit juvenile and saying that, no, why would they describe, I don't get it, why would they even describe, people think they got this real big argument when they like, why would they even describe people by colors? But you go, so first of all, let's all just chill. In the English language, we don't have multiple names, and normally your name is simply your birth name. When you start taking on other names, you in the subcultures of the English language. Like you might have a rap name, you might have a work name, you might have a, nickname, but these ain't really your name. Your name is your government. Right? It wasn't necessarily like that. Your government is always given to you. So just think about nicknames. You could probably come up with your own nickname, but people peers give them their nickname. And it's often an attribute of yours that they sing, that they are a lot of the times it could be an attribute of yours. When I had a nickname, Fatso, when I was younger, Fat John, right? It's because I had an attribute of being overweight. The rapper Black Rob, rest in peace, had an attribute of being dark-skinned. So you don't limit your research, be blackly black, 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 black. Go see what they said about some other colors and stuff. See, we looking at personal names, but you gotta realize in ancient Egyptian, your personal name ain't always your birth name. Kimu would be like saying blacks. Yes, it would be like it. So name a color that you want us to look. We can go through this. This is what we can do with this esteemed text corpus here. Hold on one second. All right, my bad. I had to answer a phone. Now, one thing is, if you take the word for red, and I was about to explain, we're looking at personal names. They also have titles, people, inscribed objects, places, and collections, right? This is a digitized work of a book you can get written by a man named Herman Rankin. His work is so valuable because he took all the names, persons and names of the Middle Kingdom, and he categorized everything. So we can see what is going on with this phenomenon. I'm going to start with personal names, right? And I'm going to go D. First, I'm going to put DSR, which could give us a root to like something for red. And you can see right here, it came up with, out of all his work he did on the Middle Kingdom, it came up with 2 terms, right? 2 names, 4 attestations. That there may have been a person named Jasher, the Great Red, or Urs in front of it. So it's kind of backwards. But it's still the Great Red, Jasher. Probably should have been Jasher or maybe something that's honorifically transposed. I don't know. So Jasher, this is a male during the 12th dynasty on the Stella Moscow 1. 1 attestation. We could say he was the Great Red. They don't put no mountains behind it. He was the Great Red. We got this other Jasher with 3 attestations, another male. Now I wanted you to notice this. I'm giving grace to this attestation, calling him the Great Red. The scholar in the translation did not put that. Also, when we click on the name, you're going to notice it's not categorized to say that it was a physical description of how he looked. Notice it's not here. You have to notice this stuff. People be thinking we make this up. So that's Jasher, but just be fair. You can also put a T on the end of Jasher. Jesheret, you still mean red. Oh, but when we click that with no, what you call it, we get nothing. Let's put a period in between. We get nothing. We're looking at personal names. I'm putting both of these, right? I'm doing it for you. Now I'm gonna do it like this for the fun of everybody. R-E-D in English. Now we're getting some pop-ups. Now watch this. One thing we want to notice a few things. How many of these start with your share? Out of these 13, none of them start with your share, right? And how many of them actually say red in the translation of the name? Any of them? So that's why you'll be looking in English won't really help you. You can click into any of these, look. And I don't think that English is helping anything. Because that don't say red. This says something about he whom my heart desires. Right? So you will probably want to stick to over here. Let's go with green. We're trying to see how many people had a personal name in ancient Egyptian times that had green in it that was found by Herman Ranker. Now notice red didn't have nothing. 2. But we got 50, at least 50. Now think about it. This is not saying 50 people. This is saying 50 personal names. You know, like John, Mark, Paul, Tom. If I kept going till I got to 50, they'd have 50 personal names with the term Waj in them. So in my book, I tried to talk about color symbolism in ancient Egypt, and one thing I came to the conclusion is that they just really did not finish the homework on the color symbolism. Primarily, we can see here it's going to be evident that when we talk about green, Waj, they're going to often translate flourishing over here. Notice that. His name is E.E. Waj. It says I is flourishing, not I is green. Right? Click on this name. It does not say this has anything to do with a physical attribute of the person. This is an active participle with the adverbial clause. A name bearer comes and is being born. He who comes flourishing. Right? I watch. So now we understand that we got evidence behind the use of green in the ancient Egyptian lexicon to mean to flourish. We got plenty of those. He who comes flourishing, I is flourishing. This one is undefined. It has Waj in it. His name is just Waj, undefined. None of these, we're going to get down to the one that finally says green. But watch this. Flourishing of deeds. So that's what the green means in his name. So why when you get to Osiris, would it mean anything different? See? So the green Osiris represents, now it goes deeper, because this flourishing is learned through a blossom in ancient times. All right, well, you can tell me what's the quicker evidence of flourishing. Maybe you can see a young calf grow, but plants grow fast and they flourish fast, and they probably learned of this concept. Obviously, they're telling us they learned of it through green things. We're not misled by that. Flourishing, like plants growing, right? And so they had the corn mummy Osiris. We also see the plants grew out of Osiris, let us know that this was symbolism of flourishing. And in all these names, until we get down to the one attestation of a person named Waj-Ur. Okay? Waj-Ur is translated as the Great Green. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, when we click into this name, not because I'm heckin' smart, because I studied it before, this name going to be toponymic. Remember that. It's going to be related to a toponym. All right? That means they're saying this person ain't green. It's not a physical attribute of this person. This person is related to the Great Green. Now, many people who study ancient Egyptian know what the Great Green is supposedly is. The Great Green would be the Mediterranean Sea, Waj-Ur. If I click into the name of a person whose name was Waj-Ur, who we translate as the Great Green, it's going to tell us his name is not, look, name derived from a toponym or an ethnonym. So they're clear on that. They're not saying a person named Waj-Ur was green. They don't say it is a physical attribute of this person. If it said that, we wondering, what did he have green eyes? What physical attribute could be green? It's not confused. This is a name derived from a toponym. You know, Kemet is also a toponym. And if the people that we find in this text corpus here, if we find that their name is a name derived from a toponym, then Ujahunim would have been right. But we don't find that. And we'll let us see what we find out once we get to that. We're still on green. So this is the only person so far who is green. Now we got, if we just looked at this in the Medu Neter, it says Waj Menu. See, we know that if they wanted Mena, the god to be green, the adjective would have to be after the name Min. So this says Waj Menu. This would be like an adverbial clause. His name is like men flourishes. See? They did not define these other ones, but we could go on and do the same thing. They're all like men flourishes because the Waj is in front. Now, this says Waj Nin. And there's no definition here, but it's similar to this one under there. But Nin is just like this. And I don't know, I don't even want to go too far there, but we can clearly see none of them say green. Flourishing is the name, flourishing, the lifetime. Hathor flourishes. Waj flourishes. Let's look at that name. Because I don't know how they did that. His name is Waj Hair. You see? Hair would be like the face or a pond flourishing. Nevertheless, I only found one that said green. The flourishing one. Flourishing to be awake. I'm just going down to see if we can find a green one. Now we into the white. All right, the daughter of the Great Green. Now let's look at this name. Sati, or Sat, Waj-Ur. Thank you. Here you go. Excuse me. Sat Waj Right, thank you. Sat Waj or what does that mean? Sat, they say, means a daughter. Waj is still the great green, the Mediterranean. If we look at this name, it should be toponymic. She's not the daughter of a green person. Let me click it. See, is it consistent? Name bearer as child God, Sat plus toponym, or Sat hyphen toponym. See? They are not telling you she thinks she green. Nobody thinks she green. This is the name bearer as a God's child. Sat toponym associated with the God. What does that mean? Waj was also a netcher. Sat toponym associated with the God. Sat toponym associated with the God. This is the name type. All right. None of those people are saying they're green. They're all saying they're flourishing. And this is the last one, and it's not translated. All right, what's another color? Who know another color? Oh, let's do white, or what they call white, or shining, right? Or hedge. It comes from the term for silver. As you're going to see, first I got a lowercase h and a D because of my lack of transliteration knowledge. And we're getting nothing from that. So now I'm going to put an uppercase H and a D. And we're getting something. Now check this out. Remember I said they call it white, but it say silver? Because the most shining, bright, probably white thing that you just see in nature like that, I mean, I don't know how they got it. But silver became to mean white somehow, right? I don't know what color olive would be in Meta Nature, but I'll try it with the English. Now, with the first name we get when we put hedge in there, we can see it's 1 out of 39. Let's see if they say any of these names has to do with their physical attributes, or even if they put white or light or anything. She of silver. This could be close to she is white. You know what I'm saying? She is bright. She's the bright one. When I click this name, it's going to say related to a mineral. Literally, she of silver. When I click it, it says belonging to hedge. That's how you know. They say she of silver, but it says neti hedge. It ain't saying she white. It's like belonging to silver. But let's see. It says compound with the genitive adjective ni, which means belonging to, reference to a precious metal or stone. See, y'all be thinking I'm crazy, but I do the homework. If you do the homework, you're going to be asking yourself a strong research question. Why is the only name they call themselves black? They ain't call themselves red, didn't call themselves green, call themselves yellow, call themselves white. And you can find them calling other people particular names, and I'll point that out in a minute, particularly just share to you, which is some type of desert victims, as they would call it, but that's also related to redness, but we'll talk about that later. She of silver is not she is white. It is a reference to a precious metal or stone. Right? Now, this silver, let's click this one. Reference to a precious metal or stone. Even though the word hedge can be used to say shining like white or silver, right? Electrum, white gold, right? Then, look, references to a precious metal or stone would kill everything that you know they're only talking about a precious metal or a stone. We got Haji Hotep. Haji Hotep is his companion. Nothing says anything about colors here. All of these names are undefined, right? And this is some German work. If they wanted to, they say, look, we found people calling themselves white. She of the silver. Let's click that one. Now they say this is possessive prefix plus a noun. And we can see it's a mineral here because it has this dot and 3 strokes. She of the silver. And there's no more. Any other color I can look at? I don't know how to do blue. Blue, I gotta go to English. Ain't no word for blue. Blue don't pop up nothing. See what I'm saying? Brown. I don't know no word for brown besides Kim. Brown don't pop up nothing. Now, I guess we only left with the last term, black, the one they don't like us to look at, right? We put a K and an M, and we get 53. So first of all, that's the most, but let's just leave all of the undefined ones undefined, just like every other case. Now this says the daughter of Kemetic. This is Sat Kemet, just like we seen Sat Watch Earth, the daughter of the great green. They say this name gonna be toponymic. Watch this. Well, they say name bearer as God's child. Sat plus a geographic name, GN. All right, Kemet. Oh, I'm sorry. Sat plus a God's name. So let's slow down. Sat plus a God's name. So this Kemet is not a location. Y'all see that? Name bearer as God's child. She's the daughter of the God Kemet. Y'all understand that? People don't know about the God Kemet or the God Kim. She's feminine, so she has to be Kemet. Excuse me. That's what her name means. It don't got nothing to do with blackness. Daughter of Kemet, the God. The bull of Athribis is Ka M Kimu. Okay. Now we come to this. This is different. The dark one. Now things start to change. And look at this. It's an anomaly here. Out of all the small numbers of attestation, y'all, we was getting, we get down to this name, Kim, the dark one, not related to a mineral, and we get 25 attestations. And when we click on it, it's going to say something different. This is the first time where we see a name type of any color say physical quality. Golly. How can you prove the ancient Egyptians was black in so many different ways? We done went through all the other colors. They talking about something else. You get the Kim, the dark one, masculine, and the name type is a physical quality. Physical relating to your physique. Now, right now, this one says physical quality. We're going to keep going and it's going to say attribute. But Kim is not toponymic. It don't got nothing to do with Kemet. the location. It got something to do with blackness. As the definition is, the dark one. We can extract that from Kim, which means black. They're giving you all these attestations all over the place where they find people who call themselves Kim and wrote it in all these different ways. And it meant the black woman. Physical quality. These names are undefined. We come down to a female rendition of the dark one. And what does it say? The dark one, feminine. Click on it. What's her name? Kemetic. Beautiful name. What does it represent? Not a damn toponym. Them dudes was some clowns. Kemetic is a toponym. Kemetic is a toponym. Kemetic is a toponym. I said, bruh, Kemetic did not enter the lexicon as a toponym. It got used as a toponym, but it didn't enter the name, the lexicon as a toponym. It entered the lexicon as a feminine rendition of the term black. So we in the mid-12th dynasty, second intermediate period. This name was a physical quality for women. Kemet. This is Herman's Ranker's work. What part about this did they understand? You wasn't talking about black like us. Well, when you talking about black as a physical quality, she definitely was talking about black like you. When you're talking about black as a physical quality. Why wasn't it doing this with none of the other names? Now look at this. This says the blind one. But notice this word isn't Kim. It has an N at the end of that Kim. It's Kemenet. It looked like Kemenet. So you can see how blindness is rooted in darkness, but the word is different. Kemenet. All right. So, and then we come to the last one, Ta Kimi, the dark one, right? And when we click into this, what does it tell us? It is a demonstrative pronoun, the, plus an attribute. Blackness is the attribute, or a physical quality. Man, that's game over right there. How cats be arguing when you see that like that? I always look at the monitor with the camera down there. How cats be arguing when you see that like that? So you said something about electrum. I think if you look up electrum, they're gonna give you white gold. That's what they're gonna give you. I'm just saying in Metal Nature. And I don't really know what electrum is. Yeah, that's been a long game over. You feel me? I just like to reiterate and make sure people, there's a lot of new viewers to these shows and they don't understand how we develop our standpoints, our viewpoints, right? Or how they seen this brother right here, Mai Hepri, didn't say nothing. His text don't say nothing about being a Nubian, nowhere on it. But they call him a Nubian. Even though he was buried in the Valley of the Kings with an elaborate tomb. One of the most intact tombs found was Mai Hepri's. I mean, it was well constructed and hidden well and everything. This brother, they say he was a Nubian. Why they say he was a Nubian? To separate him out of Egypt. Nubia is a weaponized term used to separate anything black up out of Egypt. Am I wrong? It became a term in real history, but it got weaponized, yo. Stop playing. And my wife bought me these two beautiful sandwiches I'm about to eat. So we're gonna listen to a video or something. Let me see, because the video's got knowledge in them too. Don't sleep. That's why when she told him about the name Kim, now you're going to understand exactly what she was trying to teach him. Look, you probably couldn't understand this all the way at first, but she understood this so thoroughly. I'm going to give her some credit, but I know what she did was her homework. She went behind my work. I'm not disrespecting her. Because they sent her my work, and she wanted to tell them I was right. If you don't know what's happening in this video, these are some guys who contacted this Egyptologist, sent her my work, like my video stuff I'm showing now, about the name Kim, and they wanted her to say no, they wasn't calling themselves black. And this is what she told them. This is Dr. Maggie Bryson.
As far as a name, an ancient Egyptian having a name, Kem, and it happened not infrequently that the ancient Egyptians would have either a name or a nickname, more commonly, I think, a nickname, Kem. So like there's a guy like Pepi Ankh. His name is Pepi Ankh, the pharaoh, may the pharaoh Pepi live. It's the name itself is a reference to the king and may actually have not been his original name. It might be a name that he adopted as a priest of a dead king or as a government functionary under a living king. But so he would have that name Pepi Ankh, and then at the end it's Kem, the black.
Man, I had a longer version of that. Hold on. Is this the longer version?
I can sympathize with the impulse to be very strident, to be very argumentative, to be very certain, to act very certain about the blackness of the ancient Egyptians, because for the longest time, the very longest time, there was this prevailing idea that black is Africa and Africa is less than, right? That no matter what happens, no matter how you cast it, anytime you fall on the wrong side of that dividing line between black and not black, even not between black and white, whatever's coming from that black side is going to be less than. And it took people being willing to challenge that orthodoxy, and sometimes in a very ill-informed way, right? Sometimes, it's just to people coming up and going, yeah. I feel like this, and so I'm going to say it and make it right. And it turns out they actually were in some ways, right?
And you have the situation that the political center of Egypt was often Thebes in Upper Egypt, which was still a very black area. So a lot of the most powerful dynasties of Egypt were in fact black. And you have the situation that the political center of Egypt was often Thebes in Upper Egypt, which was still a very black area. So a lot of the most powerful dynasties of Egypt were in fact black.
The pseudo-killers and Bro Garfield have maintained that Egyptians were not black and that they would never call themselves that. After their statements were disproven, they went on a rampage contacting white Egyptologists to try to get these Egyptologists to say Egyptians were not black and they would not have called themselves that. This effort backfired tremendously as Kara Cooney told them that Egyptians were black, and Dr. Maggie Bryson said they would call themselves Kem, the Black, frequently. Now let's watch Brother Ankh switch his position to agreeing with Smash. He knows now Egyptians were black and they called themselves that, confirmed by his experts.
In Egyptian, similarly, Kemet, another root of 3 sounds, right, 3 consonant sounds, refers to something that is black in color. Yeah? So it can be used for different words relating to blackness via the Kemet sound. It doesn't mean they're the same thing, it just means they all have something in common. So when it is used for Kemet, the black land, it carries the classifier, and you identified it correctly, it is indeed a classifier, or as Egyptologists sometimes call it, a determinative, which shows that it's a place, right? You were showing me, you showed me the glyph. It's a place with crossroads that you're seeing from the sky. That says it's a location that is referring to the black land, yeah, the inundation, the Nile Valley. This one, you see, the classifier has changed. And so now it is cattle with horns, and it's referring to cattle that is black in color. Okay, so it's not the same word. Like I'm saying, everything that's sort of Kemet related, like this guy who calls himself Kemi, the Black, in his nickname, right, his epithet, that's also black. It's a slightly different word. It's got the same root, so it means something that's connected. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So let me ask you this. Can't you, hold on, let me say this. So you could read that the black people, right? The black people, right? So you could read that the black people, right? The black people, right? The black people, right? You could actually say that. I'm telling you, yo, the expert said you could literally say it if you wanted to. The black people, right? So let me ask you this. Can't you, hold on, let me say this. So you could read that the black people, right?
I've consistently said that interjecting race into the conversation, like black or white, is anachronistic.
The black people, right?
And during those time periods, they would have never called themselves black.
So let me ask you this. Can't you, hold on, let me say this. So you could read that the black people, right?
And I simply said, if you're saying that the Egyptians call themselves black people, then you're completely out of cultural context.
So let me ask you this. Can't you, hold on, let me say this. So you could read that the black people, right?
Now Brother Ankh agrees that you can read Kemet as the black people, so his pseudo-killer cult following will also have to switch their position. Game over.
Refuting the claims of Dr. Camilla DiBiase Dyson.
Thank you. So I would say here, yeah, this is absolutely a legitimate word, and what we're seeing, this is referring, like pursuant to my comment earlier, that we have this word for a black land, being the Nile Valley, so it's actually a place name. When you have then a people added to a place, and that doesn't just go for this case as with Kemet, it goes for all place names, it refers to the people belonging to that place. So you can change the classifier. You can have a classifier that shows you a place, and you replace it with a people classifier, and it tells you inhabitants of that place.
What Dr. Camilla DiBiase Dyson says about adding the people determinatives behind a place name is true, but Dr. Biase Dyson is limiting the semantic range of the term Kemet to a place name in order to espouse her theory. As we will see in the primary text, the term Kemet did not enter the ancient Egyptian lexicon as a place name. Therefore, there is no need to limit its semantic range to a place name only to refute what is evident in the grammar. The first use of the term Kemet in the text corpus was in Unas Pyramid, PT 246, line 368. It reads, "For you are the black ram, son of the black sheep." It arrives as a feminine form of Kem, which only means black and never meant Egypt. In fact, the place name Kemet is not found in use until the 12th dynasty. But here, Bias Dyson argues Kemet can't mean black people because Kemet is a place name. The primary source to show Kemet was first used for black sheep is on the screen.
So this is absolutely a real word, and it is referring to Egyptians, people living in the Nile Valley, right? Because Kemet means Nile Valley.
Dr. Camilla DiBiase Dyson says Kemet means Nile Valley. Dr. Biase Dyson, Bro, Ank, and Garfield, please provide a source for that. Which dictionary or text corpus says Kemet means Nile Valley? Does it mean Nile Valley or Black Silt? Does it not mean Black Land? Just Nile Valley? As we demonstrated with the Pyramid of Unas, Kemet was not only a place name, it was first used to say black, hundreds of years before it became a place name. Why doesn't Dr. Bays Dyson know this?
Right, so you're saying because it's a place name, then the meaning, then the instructions of the classifier changes, because now you're dealing with a place name, so that changes. So that's what that's what's being misunderstood. Okay.
Exactly. So I just feel like I said, the reason I interpret it this way, there are two reasons why I'm interpreting this as people living inside the Nile Valley. Firstly, we have other documented cases in which you have a place name and then you change the place classifier with a people classifier and it refers to inhabitants of that place. So we have precedent there that that's the case. And the second is, as I mentioned in our conversation earlier, we don't have any documentation that the Egyptians themselves differentiated peoples according to skin color. None whatsoever.
Here, Dr. Basie Dyson makes another erroneous assertion that we do not have evidence of ancient Egyptians differentiating people by skin color. None whatsoever. I thought scholars did not speak in absolutes. Notice that Smash is using nothing but the primary text of the ancient Egyptians to refute Dr. Bays Dyson. First of all, the ancient Egyptian term for skin color was yenem. Why would the ancient Egyptians have a term for skin color if they did not distinguish it? Well, if we spent more time analyzing these terms, we would know this term was used for exactly that, to distinguish skin color. On the 12th dynasty stele of Mentuhotep, we read, "People are of the same skin." The TLA translated yenem as skin, but as we see, the dictionary has an option of skin color. So this could read, "People are of the same skin color." In the great hymn to the sun, Kemetu praised the Aten for exactly what Dr. Bays Dyson says did not happen. She says Egyptians did not distinguish people by skin color. The primary text called the Great Hymn to the Sun contradicts Dr. Bays Dyson's assertion with irrefutable certainty. It's quite ironic that the text reads, "Their skin color is different because you differentiate the foreigners." Did you notice that ancient Egyptians used the term differentiate? The term was setcheni, to be distinguished. So she is wrong again. This claim has been falsified and there is really no comeback.
So the idea that this would represent people with black-coloured skin, like Kemet for the cattle refers to cattle with black-coloured hide, which is the analogy that he's drawing, I would just say it doesn't have precedent.
Here, Dr. Basie Dyson is only revealing the extent of her knowledge in Egyptology. There is so much precedence for using Kem and Kemet to describe males and females with black skin that I apologize to my audience, for this will get a bit embarrassing. We must remember the term Kemet did not enter the lexicon as a place name. It entered the lexicon as a feminine rendering of the root term Kem, which means black. So a black masculine thing was Kem, and a black feminine thing was Kemet hundreds of years before Kemet was used as a place name. One instance in the 6th dynasty is of Pepi Ankh Kem, effectively Pepi Ankh the Black. In fact, Herman Ranke did work on the persons and names of the Middle Kingdom where he concluded Kemet as a personal name means the Dark One. Dr. Jonathan Winterman confirmed this in a discussion with Jonathan Owens, saying Takemi was the black female one.
You could either say it's Takemi is short for Takemit. Again, so the black feminine one.
But Dr. Bays Dyson has never seen these attestations, so she maintains they don't exist. Her limited knowledge is now what Garfield and Ankh have to stand on, but it has already been refuted with primary sources in under 24 hours. So where do they stand now? How about the ancient Egyptian named Nyankh Isesi Kem, or Nyankh Teti Kem? The TLA has all of these as the black one and the dark one, And Herman Ranke says these names represent physical attributes and that attribute is blackness. Dr. Bayes Dyson has been proven incorrect again as these primary sources set precedents for using Kem and Kemet to describe people with black skin.
Right? So that's what I can say as an Egyptologist. Just knowing the language and knowing what else we have in the language.
That's interesting. Could you go with a little more? Okay, we talked about it earlier how they didn't call like the Nubians. They didn't refer to it. Could you go back over that a little bit?
That's right. So we have people of various shades of skin color living in Egypt in antiquity and today, and that's because Egypt is an African country, and it stretches from the Middle East into the Sudan, right? It always has, and it does now. In fact, and that's an interesting thing about the word Egypt. Sometimes people say, oh, you shouldn't be referring to it in the ancient sense as Egypt because it wasn't called Egypt then. It's like, that's fair, but the land mass itself hasn't changed spectacularly since antiquity. Okay, so this was a space in which stretches literally from the Middle East to Africa, right into Africa, and therefore also has a population that reflects that plurality of cultures. It always has, and it does now. So there are a lot of incredible Egyptians that I meet when I'm on digs in Egypt, in southern Egypt, and they proudly refer to themselves as Nubian. They are people with black-colored skin who are very proud to identify as Nubians. Nubians are an ethnic group that's always been living in Egypt and between Egypt and the Sudan of a darker-colored skin. So you have an Egypt that has always looked this way. Why would Egyptians distinguish skin color when the plurality of skin color is normal to them? Why? They don't.
First of all, a plurality of skin colors would mandate that one does distinguish and classify them, not the opposite. This is why the ancient Egyptians did. Also, you see a primary attestation on the screen where Egyptians are referring to Nubians as black, also using the term Kem. The Great Black Nubian. We see in the hymn to the Aten that the Aten distinguished people by skin color. I'm sorry, but this was another fail by Brother Ankh, Garfield, and Dr. Bayes Dyson. All of her claims have been falsified. Easily.
It wasn't even about her, though. Shout out to her, though. She got a good heart at this. They just got her caught up out there, ain't you? You feel me? All right, so we're going to talk about the cattle thing, but I'm going to give y'all this. So, because it come down to this. It wasn't no race, right? But people start seeing that birds of a feather flock together. But they didn't really see that first with birds. They seen it with land terrestrial animals. And they seen it with cattle, and they got to observe the cattle because they were coming from a pastoralist history. And so I'm going to break this down. But here goes some of the attestations to what I'm going to show you. That ancient Egyptians, when they wanted to say my posse, my group, my clique, my people inside of all the ancient Egyptians, like my fam band, they would use a term for cattle. All right? They would use a term for a herd of cattle. The same term, Winju, that was synonymous for a herd of cattle, is also my people. Like my particular fam bam, and besides everybody else. I don't know, I might put the link up in a minute, but let's peep game for a minute. Sometimes I put the link up and then everybody leave because it'd be a lot of rambling and shit. But I'm about to let this go right here. If I can find it.
The rematch are cattle. In Papyrus Lansing, we read the following. It is the army scribe and commander of the Amun temple flock, Nebmari Nakti, who tells the scribe, Wenemdi Amun. In this text, the scribe uses the phrase, Taz Bawem An, Tn Par Jamn for Amun temple flock. This literally translates to, gatherer of cattle of the house of Amun. These are no cattle. This is a fighting contingency commanded by the army general Neb Mat Renaktu. In the tale of Sinuhe we read, Indeed, I am like a bull of who cattle in the midst of another herd. In ancient Egyptian, the word jam means young cattle. It also means youth, generations, offspring. His slaughterhouse was full of the enemy's children. The sacrificial cattle consisted of Asiatics. During the time of Senwosret I, we find the above text equating Asiatics to sacrificial cattle. The term Wenjut means cattle. Wenjut also means people. In the Loyalist doctrine of Khairsu, line 3, 6, we read, "Gather your human herd people." In Papyrus New, we find, "I am one of your people, Osiris." This same statement is found in My Herpri text, "I am one of your Wenjut Osiris." In all of these attestations, Wenjut can be translated as cattle or people. In Naksobek's song, Wenjut only means cattle. Otherwise, one will just slaughter oxen for the latch, cattle for the doorstep, a strong gray lag goose for the doorposts, or a gun bird for the lintel. In the satirical letter of Hori, we see Wenjut used to say a particular people group. "I will be buried with among my group in the mountain of the Holy Land."
My group.
It is clear to see that people and cattle were metaphorically symbolic of one another. In the case of Kemet, we should understand the black people of the land to be metaphorically equated to the divine black herd, Kemet. The king of this divine herd is often called the Bull of Bulls, and he is adorned with a symbolic bull's tail which encapsulates this divine bovine metaphor. Ancient Egyptian cattle culture spawned new ideas in Kemet, while the society was going through formative changes. Each intermediate period brought new social norms to Kemet, and most of them seemed to be based on interactions with people who appeared foreign in nature.
I'm gonna stop to answer the question. UKA said everyone noticed Dr. Maggie Bryson said sympathize. She sympathized with the idea of calling ancient Egyptians black. That's not what she said though. She said she can sympathize with those who are very strident and argumentative about the blackness of the ancient Egyptians. Those who won't relent. Those who are strident and argumentative. Me. Feel me? She can sympathize with those who are strident and very, did she say very? She can sympathize with those who are strident and argumentative over the blackness of the ancient Egyptians.
I can sympathize with the impulse, to sort of to be very strident, to be very argumentative, to be very certain, to act very certain about the blackness of the ancient Egyptians, because
so she can't sympathize with the blackness. She can sympathize with the impulse to be very strident and argumentative about it. Feel me? So if she sees somebody like, y'all tripping, they was black, she can sympathize with that, basically. You know what I mean? That's what I got from that.
For the longest time, the very longest time, there was, I can sympathize with the impulse to sort of, to be very strident, to be very argumentative, to be very certain, to act very certain about the blackness of the ancient Egyptians, because for the longest time, the very longest time, there was this prevailing idea that black is Africa and Africa is less than, right? That no matter what happens, no matter how you cast it, anytime you fall on the wrong side of that dividing line between black and not black, even not between black and white, whatever's coming from that black side is going to be less than. And it took people being willing to challenge that orthodoxy, and sometimes in a very ill-informed way, right? Sometimes, it just took people coming up and going, I feel like this, and so I'm going to say it and make it right. And it turns out they actually were in some ways, right?
Yeah. That's kind of like what she said. Somebody had just asked something, then the question disappeared. Shout out. Anyway, you can put the question back up. I forgot what it was. But I can sympathize with that too. Especially somebody who looked at all the stuff we be looking at. Right? So, even funny, they tried to argue Kim was a title, and they didn't know that I had this tool back then. So I just came to Kim. You'll see which Kim pop up at the titles, and you'll see how they are used. They go 4 Kim titles. None of these ain't the names we was tripping off. And they know what these titles are. Right? And so it was just something. This was like the overseer of the black pot. They didn't show you that there. But that's cool. I'm going to go into some ancient Egyptian texts. Anybody got, I might open up a chat in a minute, but I'm going to go into some text on anything. What y'all looking at? Sometimes, it ain't the same thing. Because if you sympathize with the person that's being strident and argumentative about the blackness of the Egyptian, you're sympathizing with the actions of that person. Right? The strident and argumentative part is what you can't leave out. And then you see, what is she sympathizing with? The concept or the fight in the person to be strident and argumentative about it? All right, Yerk say he got a text for us to look at. That's cool. You feel me? I've seen a lot of different things looking through the text corpus in my days and just chilling. Even I'm looking up the word for what they translate to Nubian. And if you go into the history of that term, you'd be like, oh man, they be lying. Yeah, I didn't say she said she was certain. I said man, y'all can do that. I ain't tripping. Let me see. That Nahesi word. Let's see what Yurik put up real quick. I never seen this document. It looked like it's German. I got it translated to English. It ain't English though. I'm gonna have to just read the Medunetcha. All right, Parinab here. What's this offering table? The table of offerings for the gods. Oh, that must be the god. I don't know. It says M. Moon. I don't know what's going on here. I'm forced to just read the ancient Egyptian. Oh, you say keep going? All right, I'm going to try to keep going. Oh, down here? All right, we got offerings to the king, Osiris. Oh, Winnie. Oh, wait, Win. But that's, so hold on. You talking about this Winnie right here? Page 6. Let me see. Is this page 6? I think you're talking about this Winnie right here. What they need to read leaves. Okay, that's page. I can't keep up with the pages. I gotta go count from the top. Two, 3, 4, 5. I know you like he puzzled. Don't trip. I think I was just reading it. Because it say 267 right here. You say page 6. Or you say, yep, line 7. Okay, let me go to line 7. I see a win with the F. Oh, okay, yeah, winning. Oh, killed them. How you find that, bud? Oh, my God. Is it those who exist? It says those who exist upon, hair, neb. Then it got some people. So it's all those who exist. Hair, Chet, F, Nettie, M, Chet, Hair. Y'all want to do this work? Oh, you got this in the TLA? It is all those who exist, huh? I'm telling you, bro, we do this, bro. So I told you, oh man, that's don't say. So that means the Israel Stella don't say Israel. Every face exists, idiom for everybody. All right, exists, okay, okay, yeah. Those who exist. Oh, I can make it bigger, I'm sorry. So Cass is like, what's up with this? I'm gonna screenshot it just to prove something. Damn, dog, you be doing some homework. Let me snip this. That's because I know I'm right. That's how I told you I'm right. Look. So I'm gonna snip this line here. Then we're gonna start breaking it down for people. 1819 dynasty, perfect time period. The term of scrutiny is one they thought we would not find. Because I'll be beating the brakes off cats. Shout out to Yuri. Look at this. They go to the hair win. This is win. That's for existence. But we got a germinating win. So we got winning. Right? Then we got two reed leaves at the end of it. See, I think the ancestors do be working with me, though. They have to. Because how did I figure that out? Now, let me show you something. Damn, now I can write the document. Yurik, somebody probably on YouTube. Go on and write it faster than me. I ain't tripping. Just get that information out there. So if we read this text, we could just start from the top. I don't got no translation of it. I'm just going to read it from the shoulders. Now, you got a jet. So this is misleading. Because normally this would start with a jet, word said by. But it's starting with a jet. Right? And jet got its little papyrus roll under it. So let's talk about this. Jet normally is a duration of time, right? So let me prove it for people. Dictionaries. Jet about to be a little piece of time. Well, how can I say that before I look it up? Eternity, forever. Man, they doing this stupid stuff. I gotta use the TLA, man. This dictionary don't work for me no more. I know damn well that was supposed to pop up. Let me show y'all in the TLA. I don't want to keep opening new pages. All right, here, look. I'm just going to put jet in the TLI. What y'all say it mean? Huh? Here it go right here. Oh, okay. Oh, man, why did I do that? I said a period of time. This jet right here, eternal, a period of time, right? But this jet, you can also mean, but you normally don't see it as just. But it means your body, just is yourself. But see, if it's feminine, I guess the self, it's feminine. So the self can be jet. So when we come back to the text, if they're not talking about a woman, then this is not going to be jet for feminine. It's going to be jet for, it's not going to be jet for body or self. It's going to be this jet for eternity, right here, right? You see it? Jet. Shall make it bigger. And you see that's the most common use. So when I be going with it, I always start with the most common use of the term. This other jet, I hear some screaming and shit. Hold on. I heard some screaming and shit. I was like, what the hell? People just be celebrating and happy and loud. But all right, so let's go back to the text to read it before they translate it. So this is the eternity jet. So this is all of eternity. Because you got a neb after it. So right now, that's just like all eternity. Well, I'm not gonna look at the TLA. I'll look in a minute to see if I'm right. Right. Adobe acting up, opening up all over my screen, just doing some nonsense. So it look like it's like saying all eternity. Tell me if I'm wrong or right. Now this neti is that which is, and then we see these people right here. Those who tell me, I mean, you know. Now, if you don't want to read this, you can't read this. This got to be a word because we got neti before it. So that means you got to read this as a word. It can't be a determinative. So this is remech. I'll open up the TLA, but I just want to read it because I know we can read it. So those people that now we got the existence, we got Winnie. So this is to exist and Winnie F. So they're going to turn this around to translate it. Here is the suffix pronoun F. So, and now we got another neti, but it got negational. I mean, no, they just messed this one up. They shouldn't have used this N right here. See, this is the same word. Look, neti and neti. Let me show y'all in the blue. Here's another neti, but whoever wrote it probably shouldn't have used this N. They know what they're doing, but he just wrote it in a different way. So this is not negation, this is just neti again. And then we got, okay, so notice how this neti right here is above these people, that which is or those who are something. And then we got this neti above, I don't know what this bird is here. Right? I just can't make it. I'm going to look in the TLA after it for a minute, but I'm just seeing what I can make. Something about all of those remnants who exist for eternity, but then it got his existence. It exists. That which is something, and then this is those who exist, all who see, it's talking more about the people. All right, now I'm about to look at the translation and see what it says. This isn't it. Let me see. I don't know because I'll be able to see. I was like line 7. Oh, yep, the existing ones. Okay. King of eternity. Those who are look, eternity and duration. So that's where we started. See, so remember we said eternity, and I was like, okay, that's about eternity. So let's make it small on the screen. And so, I mean, it's going to be big so we can get them both on the screen. Like this. So this is where this is starting, I can tell. Eternity of duration. but that's not really right. They said Lord okay, let's do this. So they say this Neb, yeah, they right, because I said this Nettie. Yeah. This Nettie, so they saying that this Nettie is not those who are, they just say that this is a belonging to, which is fine. They say eternity, not all eternity. Eternity, Lord Nettie of people. But they say those who are. Because it got these people, and then it says existing. So he's the Lord of the existing people. The people existing. But then it got an F, and they say for him. So that's what the F is representing, him. They put that in there. That's his existence. He exists. You can't really say exist for him. Now they taking this one and they negating it. They say the non-existent. So something in there does have to be negation. So they say that this N is a negation N. So let me show y'all this. But they transliterated this wrong. Yet we're going to be able to prove it. So look, we start at this DT, the jet right here. That's jet. They go to Neb. So that is eternity. And then we got Lord, right? And then we got, I said Nettie. They say net to you. Nettie. Right? Net to you. All right. I don't see no to you. Nettie. Oh, and then they got, so they put the TU on the Nettie. Net to you. So this is your TU. I said remix, right? They're saying that this is just, I don't like how they transliterated that because this don't always represent a TU. But since they got, let's click this word. So net TU, they got a TU bar here. 69 occurrences, those who are. Okay, I'm not mad at that. But let's keep going. So net to you, not, I was just saying netty. But they're telling me to pronounce this as a oo at the end. So netty oo, if you notice that. And the oo represents plurality. So first I was saying those who are people. But yeah, that's the same, those who are. Existing, those who exist. And then we got for, they said for him with this F. Then we got another netty, but how did they call that one? They didn't say this was a netty. They said, now you see an N, a T, and a Y. But they got N, F, a OE. This is where I said they transliterated it wrong. Tell me what I'm tripping on. See? Look, if that's an N, this really can't be an N, y'all. I'm just telling y'all. I mean, it can be an N. It's not an N of it shouldn't be an N of negation. They're probably right and I'm wrong. The reason why it shouldn't be an N of negation, because they're proving it. Do y'all see an F here? The F y'all see is above this N. So they're going NF, NF. They're going win, NF right here, right? That means only we got IO to you after that. So if this is an N, and this is an N, and this is net to you, how is this one own, and that's a TU bar? TU. Now, when I click I own to you, it might not say what they have on here. It will say it, right? It shouldn't say non-existent because this is for him. This is going to say the non-existent. look, this could also be a tribe of bowmen, right? So let's just see. Those who are not existent. Y'all know the other own to you. So those who don't exist. But how, I'm just trying to figure something out, and let me show you. This into you, which is those who are, and aun to you is those who are not. When we go look at the glyphs, how is those who are not represented? If I could take some of this off, there go those who are not. They're saying this is aun to you. How they see an I in the beginning of this, I don't know. I see an N, a T, and a Y. And I'll call that a TU bird. But it really don't matter though. So now when we get down to here, because this is what we're looking for. To prove that you can have a Winnie, right? A win, and they're going to call this a Winu to you too. Let me see. They're obviously including these three strokes. So when we go back to the dictionary, we see this word. So this is the term I need to be looking up. Thank you. And we got 19 occurrences of it. Thank you, Uric. All right, so they don't understand what we're doing because I have not already explained. This term is going to prove that it don't say Israel on the Mara and Ptah stelae. The existing ones, but it don't got the glyphs. Here we got Winnie with some people, but it, right? We want to see it with the extra reed leaf. There it go with the reed leaf. Here's another one. So y'all see Winnie with the reed leaf and people. So let me go to this Mara and Ptah stelae. Now, if you read this, they're going to tell you this is known as the Israel stela. But we've been teaching people over on this channel, it's going to spread all throughout the world because it's the most truthful truth right now, that it don't say nothing about Israel on it. Right? What it says something about is Syria. And it appears to spell it out in English, but it doesn't. That's just fooling you. So if I take the portion of the text, and you should all know how to do this by now from watching my show over and over, you're going to start from line 25 down. If you want to include study of the term shalom, right? And so we'll snip that. And on about line 27, we find what they start talking about. Supposedly, they say they're talking about Israel. But, so what I find here is they said that this word says Israel. There's a whole lot we could say about that. But I have an argument that instead of the way they parsed it like this, they should have parsed it like this. And we see our term Winnie here. So if someone's confused, I'm going to break this down. This word win means to exist. The state that we find the term in the dictionary in is called gemination. And the gemination in this instance, I can pull this up. Let me see if I can find it. The gemination in this instance does not. Let me see. I gotta go back to that original text because I gotta, unless I can open two pictures up at once in my screenshot. The way we find it in the dictionary with two N's behind it, it's not a different meaning. It has no different meaning. See, right here, it only has one N behind it, just so you can see clearly. Winnie. And they got the two N's there, but you only see one N. So we see it the same way we're seeing it on the Mary Patah stele, with only one N still meaning those who exist. Now, the funny part about this is even their translations say that this term means those who exist, but they say it is those who don't exist. Just like we found it in the other term to mean the non-existence. But they say it's negated by this N right here. Now, when you parse it this way, the term after that is clearly Syria. But it's Syria in English. Let me show you. Just by going to Canada. It's Syria in English, and that confuses people. Let me see, where's the Syria thing right here? Now, if you look at this, it ain't no way around that. But what messes it up, and I can change this slide. I could go like this. People think that it does, that literally says Syria. But people think, all right, what am I doing? I'm leaving off the R at the end, right? And the most critical thing is that this is an English word. Syria. But if you look in the time period and do the etymology, the true etymology on the term Syria when it first started being used, we'll find that a derivative of this term was being used in that region, and the term was Syrioi. The Syrioi. Nah, you messing up, Babylon Don. You never been right, by the way. That's why you never click the link no more. You just turn into a chatty patty, right? And you're never right. You don't know anything about this. You never researched it. You're just listening to what I say. And you're telling me I'm wrong about some shit you don't know. And even let me prove you wrong on right what you just wrote on the screen. Syria is a place name, yet Israel is a people name, Syria. What are you talking about? So the argument here is that, as you see, we got people here that, first of all, don't be confused by the English, is what I'm trying to explain to you. This English term, Syria, it just turned out that these, you got to know about the ancient Egyptian, these consonants are vowels here, I and A, right? Where they're not really holding hard, they're not really certain I's and certain A's. It's just holding the place of some sounds that were after, and I could go in deeper on that. People say the I is more certain than the A, but the A is definitely not, just excuse me, not holding the place of a vowel in the way that you think. So a term that we found for some people, not of the landmass, was the Syrioi, Okay. Syrioi in the 1100s. Syrioi. The people in the Levant in Luwanese hieroglyphs were called the Syrioi, and they were from the land of Surah. Now, these scholars argue that this is the early Syria, right? So this is actually, in my argument, this is an attestation to the people called the Syrioi, all right? And so let me show you something. Anybody could do what I'm about to do. I'm going to show you the path to do it. I'm going to say SYRA, and go right here to Wiki, right? They probably got a page on the etymology, but I'm just going to take you to some sources. In this, they use some good documents to talk about something in here. Here go Assyria and Syria synonyms. First, you need to read this document, all right? Assyria and Syria synonyms. That's one. And you're going to find in that document that they said Assyria and Syria was used by the Greeks as the same thing. They basically became synonymous with each other. And this is Robert Rollinger on another group, the terms Assyria and Syria again. Now, when you come to this, this dude is retarded. I learned how to read from Bobby Banger. The terms of Syria or whatever it said, you cannot read. Stop learning from Bobby Banger. You retarded. All right, look. Hit the link one time, I dare you. Go back into your old man bag and hit the link and come defend your statements. If not, you just a chatty patty. So look, since antiquity, there's been a debate about whether the linguistic connection between the words Assyria and Syria. So this document is going to conclude, they'll tell you. So right now they're saying it came from the ancient Egyptian Heru and all of that, right? But what they're going to say is eventually in this document, by the time of the Greeks, they just called the stuff Seer, or Syrioi. Now, I'm not talking about the time of the Greeks that you know about. I'm talking about earlier time. Earliest about 800, right? But the one document I would like you to look at, and I show it all the time so people can just shut up with that, right? It's called what? It's by Robert Rollinger himself again. And I should have it. Let me see. It shows you clearly that they was using that term for the people. Some people call it the Syrioi. Not for the land was called Kor to the ancient Egyptians. Hopefully I can find this thing, then I'm gonna get back at the chat. But hopefully I can find this document. It's in here. But whatever, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'll be looking too hard. Anyway, in that document, he started pinpointing the Syrioi. So what he just showed us, all right, the word Israel is not on the stela, is what I'm showing people. That there's another option. But those who argue that it's the word Israel are arguing that it's the first time it occurred in human existence So since you can't read the ancient Egyptian language, you probably should just shut up and start misleading people in the chat. You feel me? For real. Oh, here it go. No, the terms, no, that ain't it. I'm sorry. God. Assyria and Syria as synonyms, but I ain't finding the one I want to find, and I'm going to stop looking for it. If you look through here hard, there's a document by Robert Rollinger that's talking about, I'm just doing too much at once. It's talking about the first use of that term in Luwanese hieroglyph or Luwian hieroglyphs, whatever. Right? In that document, they tell you a whole lot. But I ain't tripping. I just think what Uric just showed me made my argument a lot more solid, and I might could begin to, you know, I just was sharing the research with y'all. It's nothing I'm like trying to be like, I discovered something. I can't even find that document, so forget it. I don't know what y'all talking about. But the two that I just recommended out of there are very good to read, and they probably would take you back to what we was talking about. Syrioi and Luwanese hieroglyphs. Well, I ain't about to look no more. I read it on my last show when I was talking about that. So you can go look at that. Well, I done did about 2 hours. I don't know if the people who was asking was opening up the chat still here. Oh, shout out to the people who contribute to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Dang, he said, where did the I sound come from if no glyph? There is a glyph there, bro. What are you talking about? You don't see the I sound? That's why people play themselves so much. You don't see the I sound right here. S-Y-R. First of all, Y has an I sound. S-Y-R-I-A. You can't get around that. But that ain't the part that I like because it looked too much like an English rendition. When you do the real study on it, what you'll find is that 2 words down the line, you have the word core here. See, let me show you something. This word, no one will argue that this isn't the land of Syria. That's why you got a problem on your hands. Because have you seen how big this whole text is? Let me go back and show you. If we come back to the Mara Patastel, what the Mara Patastel? Man, that text hella big. It's about 28 lines. And you trying to tell me we get to this line and it can fit on the screen. Let me make it fit on the screen. Look. You trying to tell me we get to this line and this literally spell out Syria, but it got, hold on. This literally spell out Syria, but it got people behind it and an R right there that we got to discuss. This say Syria, but it don't say Syria. What is it saying? I think it's saying Syrioi. Syrioi. Because that's the name we find these people being called. Excuse my pronunciation. I'm just trying to represent an I and an O in the Luwanese hieroglyphs. Syrioi. Were the people, not the land. So now what do you have here? You see people? These people are called Syrioi. These people are called Syriar. 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 This is Syrioi. And this is Karu. Karu. Karu is Syria. That is the word for Syria. So how you gonna tell me, look at this. How you gonna say that this is a far-fetched when it's like 3 words apart from each other? And people trying to say this means Israel. And people who don't even know the glyphs, who ain't qualified to mount an argument, is mounting argument. Oh, the I in Winju, you smashed, asked about the beginning of the word. Okay, so this I right here now, first of all, when you see double reed leaves, it's not an I. So you just got to learn the language. They're forcing it and making it be an I because you can get an I out of one reed leaf. But it's normally supposed to represent the Y sound. So somebody gonna say that's the same sound, fine. Then spell Yahweh with an I then at the beginning. Right? No, and so we do get something out of the Y sound. But that right there is supposed to be a Y. And they're transliterating it back to an I. They're saying it's an I, whatever. So it's still a Y in my translation, W. If we go back here, it's going to be a Y. Look. Don't you see the Y right there? Do I got to make it bigger? So he can see the Y. Look at the Y. See? So, Winnie. No, that was called Syria. That's what they was called. I didn't make up Syrioi. I wanted to do AI know anything about that. I put Syria, I'm going to put Luanese, W-A-I-N, hieroglyphs. W-I-A-N, hieroglyphs. Let's see if we can find anything on that. It said right there, bro. God. The serial, so hold on. If I can find the text. Let me see. Somebody gonna be feeling crunchy. Crunchy. Uh-oh. Crunchy. Iron Age hieroglyphics, Luwian inscription. Now, if the people is called the Syrioi in here, are you gonna feel crunchy? Crunchy. Iron Age. See, when me and my sisters little kids, we would be like, you feel crunchy. Let's see if we can find it in here and make them feel real crunchy. I'm just pulling up documents because I know what they're going to find. Yeah, it's on one of these car meshes. Oh, you about to get your wig wounded. Get your wig wounded. You got to know your sources. It's on one of these carcamishes. It's on one of them carcamishes. Carcamish B or something? Dang, don't have me say that in here. So what if they found on these Luanese hieroglyphs that they was calling some people Syrioi? Now here it go right here. They going in on your wig. This is something I told y'all, but let's just go in. They might not be all the way on your wig. It says he proposed the term Hittite from the Old Testament, Hityin, and the Hittite Ket or the Keter. So I don't want to throw us off. I just wanted to read this when they was talking about the Keter in the Hittite land. For a growing corpus of hieroglyphic descriptions, Sase connected the Hittites finds of Syria and the remains of Anatolia. That ain't what I'm coming to read. I'm coming to read something about the Syrioi. See if they say that in Luanese hieroglyphs. Right? They way back in history. So I gotta get up to where we at. Here are around these Clackamas stellae, right? And there's going to be one line where they call the place Seir, and they call the people the Syrioi. So crunchy people have to feel. Oh, the hoop game's coming on today. It's about to be going down. I put one of my RC cars in the trunk of my car because I'm about to start back. And I'm about to put a fishing pole in the trunk of my car. So, and I put 2 chairs and a table. I'm about to start back outdoors kicking it. I remember when I used to stream from the outdoors. I remember once we were streaming, I was on the kayak. I ain't found it though. They ain't said nothing about the Syrioi. I could try to type it in. Oh, here we go. Hieroglyphic Luanese inscription. The hieroglyphic script. Okay. Now we're about to have to talk about it. As soon as they say what this inscription say, you're going to feel crunchy. You know, I'm just waiting, I'm looking through to see if they ever translate it. Here go the text. Is they gonna ever just get? Nah, he didn't, bro. Sorry about that. I looked through that whole text. I don't know, but I ain't about to do it too much. I can just find one of my other videos and show that shit. And yeah, they was using that term Syrioi for the people in that time period. But what's up, though? Somebody hitting the link? Let me hit the link because I want to move around a little bit. I want to move around a little bit. See if I can put this on the screen. Anyway, cats love being in the chat acting like they be studying. No, damn well. I love when cats be teaching me stuff they got off my show. There you go right there. Pin the message. Hit the liggity link. Hit the liggity link. And don't trip. I might go do some video stuff. Gotta go get dressed. Get right. But till then, it is what it is. Tell me what y'all want to do. Shout out to Joey. Hit the link. What up?
What's up, Smash?
Nothing. Just chilling this morning. About to probably go handle some work. I gotta do my line.
Yeah, well, I was reading Reggie's paper the other day, and I looked through one of the sources, and there was a West Star Papyrus, and it was talking about calling people a flock. I don't know if you saw the quote that I put in the chat just now.
Yeah,
it was he was quoting Myron Litchfield,
It
where
was
they
calling
brought Jetty
people.
the
It was
magician.
calling people a flock.
Yeah, where they brought Jetty, and he told him to chop off a prisoner's head, and he said, "My sovereign, my lord, it is not permitted to do so with the sacred flock," or something like that. Have you ever read it?
No, I have not.
Very interesting. But when I first read it, I started to get confused, and then I realized they were Khufu's sons were telling him stories about magicians. about 4 or 5 stories about magicians. It's a very interesting read.
I probably read it before, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, but it's very interesting. I was reading over a couple of other texts the other day too. I read another Carmos text. Very interesting thing. I urge people. You could use the TLA and you can use the language even if you don't know the language. You don't have
Hold
to
on.
be an expert in the language.
That's what's up. What's up, UKA? He probably just coming in. Have y'all seen Brother Reggie lately?
Yeah, he did a live the other day. If you're gonna have to go online, you'll see it. He was arguing about the Diddy case with Morpheus. You didn't see it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you had to watch it. The last one. Hey, one of the hot topics is, did you see Commission Adept on Sunlight TV? You need to go and watch that.
Nah, he talk a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, the man say you ran in those man.
Nah, I don't want to waste my time.
That's crazy. But the man was putting glyphs on the side, showing hieratic natural rules, saying it looked like all kinds of craziness. It was real crazy. He took the rematch and put it on the side and said that means a lot. I said what?
Crazy.
If you have the time, you should go through it.
What's up? Hey, what's up? You there, UKA?
King, world, great God. Peace to the everlasting.
Oh, we can barely hear you. What's up with you?
Okay, let me I swear, man, I be always having technical. Yeah. Yeah. What about now, King? You got me? Yo.
What up?
Damn.
I hear you now.
Okay, yeah. What up, Almighty God? Peace to the everlasting.
Yeah, what's up with you?
Man, just working, King. You know what I mean? Just that's all I be doing, man. That's why I don't, you know what I'm saying? Can't really get a chance to tap back in as often as I want to. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm a traveling electrician, so I'm way out here in South Dakota right now, working, you know what I mean, working on this hospital or whatnot. But man, just glad to tap back in with the great one time. You know what I mean? Salute all your works, King. Like I said, you know, I mean, it should be evident, you know, that your works ain't going for, you know, unnoticed, man. And, you know, anytime because if you've seen the consistency, and you deserve your praises, man, because I feel for guys like you a lot, because I just can imagine, you know, putting in so much work. And then sometimes you look at the chat and you see there's only 25 people in there or 30 people and get discouraged, like, man, am I wasting my time? You know what I mean? Why I don't have the views and etc. But that shit don't matter, King. What matters is every time you talk to one of these damn scholars, they always talking about they know Smash Rockwell. That's the golden ticket, King. You see what I'm saying? Anytime they bringing them boys on, they bringing them girls on, and oh yeah, I'm a fan of hieroglyphics, and oh yeah, I'm familiar with your work, and you know, I didn't know that was Smash who you were talking about. I would have never said that dumb shit. Anytime you see that's a consistent thing, King, that's a great that's just magnificent, man. And you know what I mean? I got to you know, I got to commend you, King, on those excellent and those great works. You know, so keep your head up, continue, you know what I mean, to press forward, you know what I'm saying? Because you never know who's watching, man. You know, it's a different type of, you know, appreciation they have for somebody who hone in to their craft. And that's why you're so excellent at what you do. You know what I mean? And this is just, you know, love from one king to the next, from one brother to the next. You know what I mean? I just have to salute that. You know, that's why you're so great in your hip hop, you know, in your hip hop works. That's why they call you the rap god. Anything you doing, you going hard with it, you going full fledged with it, you know, and it's a beautiful, magnificent thing, King. So continue to move forward, God. But King, I just, you know what I'm saying, that Maggie Bryson. And then I'm in the chat with Set 12 and I'm banging with this man. You know what I'm saying? I'm banging with him. It's like, King, I don't get that from, well, what I get from what she's saying is because she says she agrees with she agrees to be very strident, or she sympathizes to be very strident and argumentative, you know, about the blackness of ancient Egypt. And if I just pause right there, like when I look at the definition of sympathize, the second definition, it says to agree uh it says to agree with an opinion or sentiment, with a sentiment or opinion, to agree with a sentiment or an opinion. And so a lot of people think, and you know, that when she says sympathize, that she means like she's feeling sorry for, you know, and I'm getting ready to box that up real quick because I sincerely don't believe or get the understanding from what she's stating that she's alluding that she feels sorry, you know, for people, or she's, it's an, she feels bad for people who assert this notion, because she goes on to say that later on in her spiel, she says that, people who they were about
Your phone's
about the
starting to go into
blackness
the
of
matrix.
Kemet, but she said,
I want to give
"Okay,
a real
King,
quick.
yeah, I
Your
done
phone
walked
was
in the
messing
store
up. I
right
want to give
quick."
a shout out to Corey. Did I say that right? I messed up. Let me look on my phone. No, it's Corey. Yeah, for the Cash App. Thank you for the Cash App. We always appreciate that. And the Cash App is Smash Rock. Go right ahead, bro.
Yeah, King. Man, I'm in the store trying to get a little something, man, real quick, but the person ain't at the damn register. But yeah, so she says and I feel when she says, see, that's the banger for me. That's the killer for me. That's the killing blow for me. When she says that sometimes people were ill-informed, uh, were ill-informed about their methods, you know, and just she said that they just were saying like, I feel like this. She said, but it turns out that they were right in some ways. So we have to ask ourselves, what are the ways? Well, she goes on to agree with you and smacking up bald-headed Bobby. She smacked Booger Bobby up and says, basically, nigga, Papillon did call himself black because he was literally black. That's what she's saying. But see, people, I can tell that a lot of people didn't read a lot of books growing up, King. And see, my dad was adamant. I didn't have many options when I came home from school. I had to either take a nap, I could do my homework, and that was the only two options. I had to, or read. That was my third option. I could read, take a nap, or do my homework. That was the only three things I could do. And so I read a lot of books, a lot growing up, and you learn to use context clues. You learn to read between the lines. You learn to understand what you're reading, not just, saying the words, but you have to comprehend. It's a comprehension issue that a lot of people in our community are facing. And they're not understanding that conversation in totality when this woman says, yes, Pepe Young called himself black, she said, and it was not uncommon for people to have a nickname associated with themselves. And she said that she would have to agree that, she said, well, most Egyptians more than definitely had black hair. So she know that he wasn't just referring to his hair, but that he was referring, we had to get the entire quote from her, for the comprehension and the understanding was that it was due to his appearance. She's in agreement with Smash. And so when you look at that, and then you hear her say, well, I sympathize. That means to agree or with a sentiment or an opinion. So she said she agrees with an opinion or a sentiment, an idea or a notion of pertaining to the blackness of ancient Egypt. And then she says, because for a long time, she says she agrees to be strident. She didn't say with people who are strident. She said, I sympathize with being strident. She didn't say with people who are strident. She didn't say with people who have this strong no. She says, I agree to be strident. I sympathize with being strident. So what the hell does that mean, Maggie? You sympathize with being strident about this? You, personally. She says, I sympathize with being strident and very argumentative about the blackness of ancient Egypt. That's her first bar. Then she says, because for a long time, so now she's about to give you a reason why. She says, for a long time, people were against the idea, the notion of blackness associated with ancient Kemet. And she said that they separated the line but with whiteness and blackness and was saying that black was less than. Then she says that sometimes people who asserted this notion did so in very ill-informed ways. She said that they just feel like this. But she said it turns out that they were right in many ways. In most ways, in a lot of ways, or many ways, whatever that word she said. So that staggers to me, God. You know, what are those ways? Is it the Papillon way, where he gives himself a nickname pertaining to his appearance? Is it the Diop way, in which he asserted that Kemet means black people, is pertaining to the skin tone? What ways are this? Because her whole spiel is about the blackness of Kemet. So maybe some ways she say that she don't agree with their methods or their spiel or their dissertation or their logic behind their reasoning. But she said, but for her to agree with you on the Papillon having a black appearance, and for her to say that she sympathizes and with the notion to be strident about it, that speaks volumes to me, because why would she choose to be strident about being argumentative about the blackness of Egypt if she didn't agree with it? That's how I feel, Almighty God. And like I say, King, I don't know if I'm still on the mic or not.
Yeah,
because I've been going.
You're on the mic.
Okay. Indeed, great God. You know what I'm saying? I don't know God. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I get from that great King. And so, if anybody, I mean, you got set 12 and Polar set 12. I'm gonna be honest with y'all in the chat, man. My brothers just listening, my sisters. Please don't be a set 12, man. You can't go out like that, G. You can't go out, you can't die on them hills, man. You can't die by them swords, because at this point, you start dealing with some type of mental condition. When you got mounds and libraries and bills after bills and knowledge after knowledge and academics after academics and scholars after scholars and primary attestations after primary attestations and books after books and lessons after lessons that's proven this topic to be the truth. It's proven without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, for God's sake, you got Diop, but now in the future, you got Maggie Bryson. So you got a black man, then you go get a white woman. Then you got a black man, you got a black man, then you can go get a white man. You got Black Obanga, then you go get a white man, Stuart Tyson. Like, what you want, G? Who you want to talk to? You got the complete spectrum. Then you go get a Hispanic man. My man Carlos Morena. You can go get Dr. Morena. Who you need, G? They all in agreement by they with Diop by now, you know, to his overall point. And so you're gonna have to buy. You got from the past to the present tense that they black. And guess what? We ain't gonna go nowhere. We're gonna shout this shit from the rooftops until our casket close because y'all, this whole entire world owe them boys a debt. You owe the ancient Egyptians a debt because they taught the Greeks, and the Greeks done taught the Rome, and the Greeks done taught everybody else. Your societies and your structures, from your legal system to your political system to your police to your to your infrastructures to your to your astrological systems and astrology and dealing with morphology and dealing with the studying of the planets and dealing with sciences and mathematics and building. You owe that all to Black Africans, and we ain't gonna never let you forget it. Cause you don't never let us forget, nonsense. You don't never let us get a day without trying to undermine and belittle us. So guess what? We're gonna checkmate you every time. And so you're gonna have to take that forever. You're gonna have to take that beating forever. Cause we ain't going nowhere. We got Smash on the front line, and he doing a hell of a job. Man, that man, he straight got that juggernaut in this shit. Y'all ain't been able to hold him yet, and you ain't gonna hold him. And man, I rest my case, God. That's my bill.
Word up. Thanks for that bill. Joy, you there?
Yeah.
You want to get a word in? I was starting to get sleepy. I'm going to end at 3 hours. So what, you want to get a word in?
I'm going to say this again. Thank you for the Magi back chat, because those brothers always stopping me from jumping out the window. Because I always want to do something with Medunet, and the brothers like, I don't think you want to do that. They're not discouraging. They're like, when you have that big brother that always see you trying to do something stupid, trying to do something, but he know you can't do it, and he don't want to tell you don't do it. You understand? They're like, I don't think you want to do it. Don't stop doing what you're doing. But if you do that, you're going to hurt yourself. So
I
don't do
heard
that.
that.
Because you
Yeah,
see how
there's a lot
everybody
of
else.
good people in that back chat, and that is the Magi Archers back chat. Holla at
Yeah,
Brother
man.
Sadiq. Y'all want to get in there.
Yeah, man. It's wonderful, man. And I'm reading these texts, and these texts are very interesting.
Well,
They
they ain't
even
got
gave me
no
a paper.
AC on in this house, in this room, getting hella hot. I'm almost can't even take it. I'm about to go see what's going on. It must be a hot day out here in California. But I'm going to let y'all go get up off of here. I'll be saying I'm going to come back later, but I hardly ever do. So maybe in the next couple of days or whenever I get some time, I'll be back on.
Just remember to keep your eyes on my page, because I'm going to do some interesting readings in the future.
Word up. I'm going to check it out.
I hit that cash out one time for the great Lord King.
Yeah, y'all
what I mean?
hit that cash out. Actually, I think somebody just did. I appreciate them too.
Yeah, I did, God. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Shit,
you
I
did?
hit that cash. Oh, God.
Oh,
Shit,
yeah, you
King,
did.
bless
You sure did. Thank you for the
Man,
cash up.
bless
I
him
appreciate you.
Man, that's the least we could do, Almighty God. You know what I'm saying? Your works, you deserve to be paid. I mean, that's just a fact. I mean, let's be real. But I'm gonna go make this trip, God. I got a move to make, but blessings to the Almighty King forever.
Word up. Thank you.
Forevermore.
Appreciate y'all.
Blessings, God.
Peace.
Word up. Peace. Let me see. All right, y'all. I done did a couple hours. I wasn't even tripping. I'll try to be back. Hopefully we went over some stuff we already know, because we talk about it all the time. But since we beat them all the way off the subject now, they don't even want to talk about it no more. So it's good. We make sure the new viewers know what's going on. Keep studying. But I'm going to go on and relax, kick back for a minute. Maybe do some video work.